So we're increasingly entering a world where we have ubiquitous data, which means that everybody has access to lots of data through apps, basically, right? And it doesn't mean that they have access to all possible data. It just means that lots of people have access to lots of data, which makes everybody a decision maker, right? And so we have a unique opportunity to engage people in the decision-making process because everybody's basically a decision maker already, right?
Right.
So the question is, can we build the tools that enable the democratization of resilience, right? And so the way to do it, I think, is to build the computational frameworks, the machinery, if you will, to integrate all these sources of data, which are not collected to be integrated. So we have to figure out the methods to do it, right? And we have to figure out the relations between them in order to be able to compute the data that we need to answer the questions that we have, right? So this, to me, is the fundamental problem of enabling resilience of a population, enabling people to make decisions, because we're no longer in the situation where we have a decision maker that's separate from the system, is making measurements and implementing policies, and then the system responds. All that has merged. So that's sort of my perspective on what's happening in the world, I guess. And we also have the situation that, for example, when we do simulations, we have to integrate a lot of data to make the model, and then we do simulations, and then we end up with more data than we began with, right? So we're in sort of this world of expanding data. And so we have to develop the tools to ultimately analyze these simulations. I call this simulation analytics, to be able to make sense of them in a way that's useful. And that's really what it comes down to. Our lab was recently involved in responding to the Ebola epidemic. And so the Ebola epidemic hit some countries in Western Africa, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea. And these are very sort of data poor countries, if you will. We just didn't have access to good data, on the ground data, right? And in fact, the situation is so bad, for example, that we have information about where roads are, but we don't know if they're accessible because that changes from day to day, depending upon how much rain there has been. Because if it's rained a lot, the streets turn to mud and nothing can pass, right? This means that we have this dynamic situation where we have to have tools that allow you to update your model every single day in order to be able to make decisions about where you can put hospitals, where you can reach people, where you can intervene effectively, right? So this is this problem that you're referring to, which is that it's not just a matter of collecting your data first, then making a model, and then producing a response. It's an ongoing, iterative, continuous process. So what we do is we build web-based applications where, for example, an epidemiologist can enter an experiment, a computational experiment, which spawns a job on our servers. It may take hours to run, but then it packages the results and presents back through the web interface. What this means is that the epidemiologist does not have to become a computer scientist. They can focus on their expertise and on their problems. And the nice thing about having high-performance computing backends is that then we can be inside their decision room. They need to make a decision every day, and we can return results to them in that time. Otherwise, the tool is useless to them.